Hi guys, my name is Caroline Ininga Majute. I'm an SAP Business One consultant based here in Nairobi. And in this video, I want to show you how to configure SAP Business One that has been installed on AWS for external access via the browser. So I'm just going to share my screen so that you can follow along with what I'm doing. So as you can see my screen, here is my AWS, server where I have SAP, installed. This is SAP version 10, patch level 2408, running on SQL. So the first step is that we need to make sure that the browser access service is actually installed. So I'm going to log on to the SLD section to confirm that. So let me log on to SLD. And then let me put my SLD password. So here's my SLD, section. And if I click under services, you can see that, my browser access service has already been installed. So that is the first step. The second step we need to make sure is that several ports are accessible via the public IP. And basically the ports that I'm going to be using for this configuration are port 8100, port 40,000, and port 40,020. So I need to make sure that these three ports are accessible, via the public, IP of the server. As you can see on my desktop of the server, here is my, my public IP. So I'm going to use a tool called the port checker to make sure that, my ports, are accessible. So here's my public IP, and the first port I'm going to check is port 40,020. And if I click check, as you can see, it's closed, okay? Port 40,020 on my public IP is closed. Let me check my second port, port 40,000 is also closed. And finally, port 8100, if I check it, it's also closed. So what we need to make sure is that, these ports are open on the public IP. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my firewall settings of the server. I'm going to go to my firewall settings, advanced settings. And then I'm going to go to inbound rules and create, a rule so that to open those ports on the firewall. So I'm going to go to port next. I'm going to type out the port 8100, port 40,000, and port 40,020. So what basically I'm doing is that I'm allowing these three ports via the server firewall. Allow connection, next. Then I have to give the exception a name. You can just name them SAP ports. And then finish. And now, if I go back to my port checker tool and try to check, as you can see, still closed. 8100, 40,000, still closed, and 40,020 still closed. So what I need to do to open these ports again is go to my AWS instance settings, and on the security groups, I need to define those ports and the inbound security rules. So here's my instance, and let me just navigate to the inbound rules, and I click edit. I need to define those three ports here. So 8100. Then let me add the other one, 40,000. And then finally, 40,020. So I have defined those three ports on the inbound rules for the AWS instance. Now, if I go back to my port checker and try to check, as you can see now, the ports are open. Let me check all of them. But 40,000 is open, 40 to 100 is also open. So my three ports are open, so we are good to go. So the next step is I'm going to go back to the SLD and complete the configuration. So on the SLD, I'll click on security. And under security, these two addresses, the authentication server address and the SLD address, I basically need to configure them using the public IP. So as you can see, currently they're configured using the internal IP. So I need to change this internal IP to the public IP. So here it is. And then I click update. Yes. Okay. So I've configured, those two addresses with my public IP. And then finally, my last step is on the external mapping. And I click register. And basically here, I will just, configure the external URL. So here it's already there. Then I click OK. This is the last step, basically. So we have the internal, address and the external address. Let me just test them out. So I will start by the internal address. If I click it, as you can see, I'm able to log into SAP via the browser. As you can see, it's working. And then, of course, the main thing, which is being able to access SAP externally. So just copy this link and then get out of the server, to my local machine and try to access it to see if it will work. So here, let me just copy paste the URL. So there's the URL. So it's loading, and as you can see, it's working. And I'm able to log in, able to select the company, and then put the username and password. As you can see, it's working. Okay, so that's how you set it up. Let me just talk about this URL, the external URL. As you can see, the HTTPS is crossed out, meaning that we don't have an SSL certificate, for this URL. So for security reasons, SSL needs to be installed in the server so that this address is secured by SSL. The next thing is that this public IP needs to be hidden via a domain name, okay? Again, for security reasons, because it is good practice not to expose the public IP, again, for security reasons. So that's it, guys. I hope this video was helpful. Like the video if you found it helpful, and, subscribe to my channel, for future videos, and see you on the next video.